it's really staggering in my mind because everybody I come across, top of mind is what's going on in the state of California. We have thousands of people a year leaving the state. We have businesses leaving the state. And as I just read through a laundry list here, if you look at the state of California, we have unaffordable housing, record homeless, rising crime, failing schools, independent contractors thrown out of work, exploding debt, pension debt, and now a lockdown population while prisoners are being emptied. So showing such arrogance, in my opinion, hubris and contempt for its citizens, can Governor Newsom be surprised or even care that he will be the only second California governor to qualify for the recall ballot, with Gray Davis being the other?
Well, I think the fortunate answer is yes, Gavin will be surprised because that's the arrogance of Gavin. And I think going back to where all these problems come from, I'm sure we'll get into it, has to do with where the groups of California politicians are spawned from lack of a better term, that created the California that we have today. I want to go on record as saying, and you may have heard me say this before, California isn't quite as liberal as people think it is. And I want to use the term liberal loosely. Mm-hmm. I think what Gavin is surprised at is that Gavin is tone deaf as a politician. And I think one of the things the recall movement has really awakened me to in my personal journey on it is the fact that the media or the press in general likes us to believe there's an extreme left and an extreme right. That's not exactly true. I think most people really want the same thing. They want to, nobody believes generally in no taxation, 100% taxation. Most people really want to live in a decent home, be able to send their kids to school. And I think the polarization of you can only be left, you can only be right, has gotten a lot in the lost in the shuffle. And I think that's really what's gotten lost in California for statistics I can go into.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And I think there's that duopoly of the Republicans and the Democrats. What I think I've seen is that people really want to vote their values, kind of what you're saying. We do believe in taxation. We do believe in helping our fellow man, but there has to be a value statement that the politicians reflect what we believe, what our ideals are, what I think America was built on. I guess the question for you, is it any wonder, I just read a recent poll out of University of California, Berkeley, that showed 52% of registered voters have considered leaving the state. And so question to you is, why do you think that is?
Well, I think that's probably because the state, if you live in California, it's not going well for us. Let's get real. It's just not. Our taxes are too high. We have the highest taxation in the country. We have the highest gas prices in the country. And you hear, well, why don't we change to electric cars? Well, our electric bills are the 6th highest in the country, and the list goes on and on. I think more importantly, people say we have to pay to live in California, but depending where you're at, if you go to downtown LA, where I do a lot of rallies, and I live outside downtown LA, I mean, there's homeless all over the street. The streets tend to be dirty. Our roads are bad. It's not the kind of quality of life that most people want to have. And so I think what you're seeing here is people are saying, look, I'll take a few months of humidity or a few months of cold or a few months of whatever it is to have a better lifestyle that might even cost me less. The California dream, as it was crafted a long time ago, was simply like, we have great weather year round, you have a chance to build a good life, and it might cost you a little bit more. The extremism of a small group who've been running California have accelerated that where it costs a lot more, but we're not living better unless you're extremely wealthy. And that's not the majority of Californians. Right. And so companies are going to move out, and you start shutting down small companies who can now afford to move out because they're out of business. I'm not sure how you would expect the story to end.